Hey y'all. Hey, today I wanted to talk to you about anxiety. For my 90-day program, people, I've already sent you out a PDF on it, and I kind of wanted to follow up. Anxiety is never fun. It's not a fun thing to experience, although neither is pain, and they're both part of our makeup that lets us know that something's wrong. If you feel pain in your foot, you know there's something wrong. If we stepped on maybe a hot surface or something and burnt our foot and didn't feel pain, well, then we'd be in real trouble, right? Or if we broke an arm and didn't feel pain, we'd continue using it and we'd be in real trouble. Same thing with anxiety. It's kind of a warning system, built-in warning system, and it's totally normal to a degree, okay? If you have to stand up in front of 100 people and talk, you get a little anxiety. Every time I do a gallery style speech or any kind of, group thing, I get a little anxious. And if I have found that if I don't have that little bit of anxiety, then it doesn't work out right for me. I think it kind of keeps us humble in some cases too. So if you're in maybe a bad situation, you're driving along in your car, you're parked, and somebody pulls up next to you, and you get a little bit of anxiety, it's telling you, get out of here. You're picking up on something. Sometimes, though, it gets out of control, and it can either go full-fledged into panic or close to it, borderline. And at that point, it's not healthy, and we're not going to be picking up what we're supposed to be picking up from it. We're not going to get the right messages. If it turns into panic, we're going to start immediately, our mind goes to the worst-case scenario. Okay, maybe, somebody comes up to you next to you in your car, like we just said, and you go into full-fledged panic. And it turns out the person was just getting in their car. Now, of course, if it's your alert system and, it could be a guy with a gun and you get out of there, that's good. But if you panic, you may not get out of there. You may not be able to get your keys in the car. You know what I'm saying. So panic is not necessarily a good thing ever. And some people actually rise to the level of like a panic disorder or an anxiety disorder. And if that's the case, then you really are kind of in trouble. You're treading on scary waters there at that point. So the spirit of fear is not of God. Now, let's get this straight, that we have our built-in warning system. But that's not what that's talking about. What that means, the spirit of fear is not of God, is panic. Okay, and when we get to a point where we don't move forward because of fear, some people get fearful over small things, over talking to somebody maybe on the phone or something. I know I've experienced that, and if I let it move beyond the typical anxiety, I don't get the phone call done, things drag out. You see what I'm saying? If you're fearful of going out of your house, you're not going to be able to do the things you need to do. If you're fearful of relationships and you let fear take over, you're not going to find a good relationship. You're going to attract exactly what you're putting out there. Same thing with, if you're fearful of, you want to change jobs, but you're fearful. You're going to stay in a miserable job. If you're, I could name off 100 scenarios, but you get the picture. So now when you start feeling anxiety, you got to look at it and you got to say, okay, what is this? Am I feeling anxiety for a natural reason? Do I have something coming up and it's giving me a little bit of anxiety? Or is it coming from somewhere else? Now, as you open up and move up, you are going to have that warning system go off. Maybe at times when before it would not. I'll give you an example of that. Last night I was just driving around with my granddaughter. I had taken her out, we were doing some things, and I was starting to go home, and I got this sense of anxiety. Now, I don't get anxiety, so I knew that it has to be about something else. Mother's intuition, you get mother's intuition. Any mother knows that, or any parent knows that, actually. If your child is in trouble, you get that feeling in the pit of your stomach. Well, it turned out that there was something going on that I was unaware of with my granddaughter's parents. So I was picking up on that. So what it was is I was getting the anxiety for a totally different situation. When that happens, So if it's not for you, if you're picking it up on somebody else, the way you can tell that is look at your own life. Is there a reason at all that I should have this? Even if it's a minute one and you deem you shouldn't have it, but yet there is a reason, it still could be yours. But if you go over all of that and there is no reason at all, chances are it could be somebody else that you're picking up on. If that's the case, whatever it is, you want to say, thank you for letting me know this. Thank you for that. I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it on the shelf. And please, if you could please let me know who this is for. I will definitely warn them. If not, I'm going to put it on a shelf for now because I don't need this anxiety. Okay, so the way you do that is you kind of take a deep breath and you just calm yourself. You're not going to get any answers if you don't calm yourself down. So what you want to do is you want to say, thank you for this feeling. I know that it's a warning system. I know that something is wrong. If it's not mine, I put it aside and I leave it until you tell me who it's for. If it is for you, if you have something, look at it. Is it a reasonable fear? So say it's a relationship thing. Is there reason for you to fear this way, or are you going back to past hurts? If there's a reason for you to feel that way, don't let it turn into panic. You got to deal with the problem head on. The more you deal with the problem, the quicker the panic's going to go away, or the anxiety is going to go away. If you have to speak in front of people, take a deep breath and just do it. Just merge forward, okay? Because really, what does it matter if you mess up? So I want you to do that when you get anxiety and it is about you. Look at it and say, what does it matter? Just merge forward. Just go with it because it doesn't matter. My father used to say to me, if it's not going to matter in 200 years, it shouldn't matter today. So if it's not going to hurt anybody else, if it's just a thought you have, say you're getting all anxious because you're afraid that the person you're in a relationship with is lying to you. Well, if that person is lying to you, you don't want to be with them anyway. You don't want to be in a relationship where you constantly have to look and see, are they lying to me or not? So put it aside, ask the questions you need to ask until you're satisfied, and let it go. Anxiety is, if you allow it to rule you, it's going to paralyze you. Okay, so I put some stuff on the PDF. I'm not going to go into detail about that. If you have questions on it, definitely comment or write me. But anxiety is not a good thing if it goes out of control. Never a good thing. So if it is paralyzing you, if you can sit in a quiet place, get your mind still, take some deep breaths, and keep talking to yourself, reasonably talking to yourself. And if it is a warning, thank God for that, and move forward. Either way, moving forward is going to get rid of the anxiety. Don't let it take you and bring you in a place where you don't want to be. All right. Have a great day, everyone.